Hello, everyone, and welcome to Smashbox TV's podcast 351. Tamale, the disc golf guy, alongside my plaid brethren there.
Yeah, I guess it would be. I mean,
is it fitting? My plaids are a little bigger than your plaids.
well, and a little more
Pastel.
Pastel. That's good. I was gonna say purple, but yeah, pastel works as well.
I'm on point. Matching my shorts, which I'm not going to show you guys right now, but matches well. I'm ready to go.
It's gray. It matches with gray.
No,
matches.
That's not gray. Those are blue.
It's like a blue gray.
No, it is. They are gray. Do not make me get up and put my pants
You
on
just
here.
said they are gray, which is funny.
I'm sorry. What?
You did.
They're
yeah.
blue. They are blue. These are blue pants. I don't know what. I will put on a light.
It's like a.
No, those are blue, just like the blue in
Yeah.
the shirt. Anyway, for all of our audio listeners, that's the way you open up a podcast show. Glad you guys are here to join us tonight. We should have some exciting stuff going on for you guys. We're going to have a little bit of an update, actually, coming in from the newest course in Mexico. The Paul McBeth Foundation doing a little bit of work last week. I know there were a handful of individuals over there in Mexico. I'll be the first to admit I don't know a lot of detail, so it's going to be great. We're going to have actually Joey Tamale join us in just a few moments. If you saw some Instagram stories and eventually probably some video work, I know he was there as kind of part of the crew, very fluent in, I think he's fluent in 17 or 19 different languages. And so tonight we're going to test him on a few of those.
It's too bad English isn't one of them.
We're going to test him on a few of those, but he'll be joining us in just a few moments. We're excited actually to get a few updates as to what all went down over there. But then also, we're going to be bringing in our 16-time major champion, and that, of course, being Paige Pierce. Should be pretty exciting. She's out on the West Coast. I reached out to her a little bit earlier today. She said, I don't know if I can make it. I'm trying to get all the practice in. I got 24 holes to play and so on and so forth. And the course is really busy. And then I think we came to terms with the two-hour time zone difference. And so I hope that means that once she's all practiced, once she's got herself some dinner, that we're going to have Paige Pierce joining us on the show. I know she's got a lot of things going on. She's got some announcements, and then, of course, I mean, just in general, she,
She's
won
a great interview
major.
to have on.
And, yeah, she just won another.
She's currently practicing De La.
Yes.
And the big news of the week.
I assume, unless she's playing another 24-hole course out in California, that would be weird.
I don't know. Like, hey,
maybe she's out at Pinto. I don't know.
Exactly.
Yep.
And the big news of the week was the DGPT and DGN announcing that there will be no live coverage for the Masters Cup.
Yes, this weekend.
That is a national tour event.
Mm-hmm.
It is kind of a bonus event that the DGN had talked about covering. I was in on some of the signal testing.
Okay.
And I was able to kind of watch as they hauled around a live view extender, which is like a giant, I'm trying to imagine a pizza box.
I like where this is going already.
I know you do. But it comes up to almost like a pyramid. So it's a big pizza. It's a thick one. It's a thickie.
I like those.
And then it's just slightly cut off at the top. So it's like a pyramid with the top cut off, but that size of a pizza box. That's the size of the live view extender that they were hauling around the course. It weighs about 13 pounds all in told. Trying to improve the signal. They talked to Verizon about moving, their towers, not moving the whole tower, but directing the towers more towards the course. They talked about mesh networks, which will only cover a certain amount of space. They talked about other cell signal boosters. They talked about cows, cell on wheels. Unfortunately, those are usually reserved for instances of where there would be more than 50,000 people. Not going to happen at De La. They exhausted every effort, and ultimately they could only really solidly cover about 60% of the course. There was about 40% that was just not up to spec. And even some of the 60% that was just barely. So you start adding spectators, especially in California right now, where, things are starting to open up. And as we've seen, the spectator market is ripe with action as we speak. We were just unsure of being able to cover. So rather than do like what Smashbox would have done back in the day and just said, screw it, we're going to try it anyway. And if we have to spend 45 minutes on the booth, Terry will fill for 45 minutes. They've decided that they want to put on a quality production. I know, who knew? And they've just decided to kind of scrap the Masters Cup for this weekend and really, I think, focus more on the upcoming Portland event. Whoa. That's is that how everything's coming in? Hold on one sec.
Johnny's doing some technical work, and I think we officially have a ghost that is come in. Okay, now it looks like looks like all the color patterns are correct.
Oh, that's totally weird.
All right.
I see where it is. Okay.
So yeah, we're going to start focusing on the next live broadcast at hand, which will be the taking place out in the Portland area.
The Portland area, yes, the Portland Open, which is I forget the name of the course. It almost sounds like Glen Eagles, but it's something else. Very, very close to that, but it's the Dustin Keegan designed course that is, I think, 50,000 feet is what I heard. So it's just constant. Like I don't think they stop. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, and I'm just going to run around the course the entire
just a few
time.
Times.
Just get a few laps in and jog it.
Well, the plan is to have you cover hole 1, then hole 17,
and then
hole 3,
yep.
and then hole 15. So if you could just get that done, Terry, real quick, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, and later we'll talk with you and I not working this weekend now, the new sudden development. It was my paycheck this week, so I'm going to be starting. I'm starting a GoFundMe. I'm just kidding. All right. Well, speaking of course design, course elements, someone who was traveling south of the United States border this last week, and hopefully he's got some good updates for us. We're going to welcome in none other than Joey Tamale. Hey, Joey. How you doing?
Hello.
Wow, we got audio, we got video. Joey's on top of it. How are things going?
Things are good. How are you?
We are good, of course.
Solid.
Now, about, I don't know, a little over a week ago, we saw you in Stockton, California. You were out there. And then
you're traveling with Eagle currently, right?
Yep.
He hops in and out.
Okay.
But I have my own car that I tour with.
Okay, so you're in part of that caravan, we'll say. And
Sure.
Then right immediately after the OTB Open, you found yourself taking a camera and probably some other stuff. Explain to the world what all went down in the last week or so for you.
Yeah, I was invited to Mexico, down to Cabo, La Paz, and yeah, it was the first course installed by the Paul McBeth Foundation, and I wasn't really doing a lot of filming for the first time, but yeah, I was helping him install the course and leading clinics to a lot of young children in the area, and it was one of the coolest experiences I've ever had associated with disc golf.
Does it seem like the community down there is excited to have the course? I mean, was there a lot of interest from what you could tell down there?
Yeah, I think there was two different things. There was a lot of expats who lived in La Paz who came from the U.S. or Canada who were really depressed that they didn't have disc golf down there. And they came out 3 or 4 times during the week and helped us build a course. And I think from that group of people, we can really have a solid foundation for weekly leagues. But on top of that, the kids that we taught clinics to and a lot of the staff at the camp were also very enthusiastic about the course. And I remember showing up like the last few days, and we'd show up at 9:30, 10 a.m. and there'd be 5 or 6 Latino dudes walking off the course, and they'd all be talking smack, and they'd already have played a round or two by the time we got there. So I could see the enthusiasm already getting in with those guys.
That's great.
So let's talk about a few of the basics. This was, as you said, the first course that was put in as part of the Paul McBeth Foundation. And we provided accolades earlier when we said I thought it was really cool that as Paul and the foundation grow, it isn't specifically tied to just discraft, which I think a lot of people would have probably assumed. But in fact, it had a direct tie, dynamic discs. Dustin Leatherman and Doug Bjerkes were there, correct? Kind of break down like the crew and how this week was presented and what the plan was. I know you installed the course, but what was kind
Sure.
of
So
what was kind of the setup?
right. We had Paul, like lead course designer. We had Dustin is the CEO of the Paul McBeth Foundation, kind of handled the logistics of the trip. I was assistant course designer, and I would say because of my ability to speak Spanish fluently, I was the lead person in the team to handle all the clinics and teaching in Spanish. And then we had Ryan from Jomez and Raul from Jomez as well, who were down documenting the trip and making a bunch of videos for us.
Hmm.
And then Doug was there with his wife, Noemi, for the first couple days, helping us install the course as well.
Awesome. So it's great to see, obviously, it being documented and being formalized in all those ways. Is it a 9-hole course or 18?
Yep, it's 9 holes.
Okay, so give us a little geography for someone that's never been to Mexico, like myself or Johnny V. Where is this? What the community? Kind of give us the quick tour, so to speak, of what people would expect down there.
Sure. I would say it's in the desert, in the mountains. So you've played Phoenix golf. You are very familiar to this style. The course itself is oriented towards beginners. So the longest hole is 250 feet. But the cool thing about the property was we probably only used maybe a third of the land that was there. And I think there is a plan maybe in the future to come back to design 9 more holes that are maybe more advanced. But yeah, it was very cool. The terrain was very rocky, very dry, high 90s every day. So I went through maybe 5 or 6 32-ounce bottles of water. And yeah, I didn't even feel a thing.
How about humidity? Any humidity?
Very dry.
Oh, okay.
It's very Arizona style.
Okay. So talk about the community. What's the population? Like what's kind of the, I don't want to say the demographic, that's not the word I'm looking for. Just the overall sense of community and how big the area is and that kind of stuff.
The area, I have
Sure,
it up on
yeah.
Google here, is about 290,000 residents in La Paz.
Okay. So how would you compare that to anywhere else you visited in terms of anywhere down in Mexico? You've been other places, I assume.
I mean, I've never been to Mexico. Spent a lot of time in South America during my teenage years.
Okay.
But it was very similar to the time I spent in Bolivia when I was 18 and 19 years old.
Okay.
Pretty sizable city. I would say it's way off the beaten path as far as that area because most of the American people flying in are going to stay in Cabo beaches, and this is like 2 hours north of that. So it's just more real opinion. This is where the real Mexican, and there are a lot of tourists.
Okay.
So it just feels more genuine, I would say. And then as far as kids go, they're coming from some of the poorest neighborhoods in the Paz. So these kids are experiencing the utmost poverty, and ranch that we worked at, Rancho El Camino, it's like a haven for them, and they love being there. And so any activity that's associated with that ranch is immediately something that they're all really into.
Okay. So as that was going to be my next question, which is this in a public park or is this in a facility or what's the setting for where the actual course is? Is it open to everybody in a public setting?
So it's a after school youth camp that's like maybe 35 minutes outside the city. So it's kind of tucked away in this little valley in the middle of the desert. And then like in the corner, there's like 50 palm trees, a nice little collection of uh, buildings and a pool and a stable. And it just feels like a day camp. I don't know. For me, I went to YMCA camps growing up, little day camps, and very similar. And a nice split staff between American staffers who live down there in camp, and then actually staff members as well. And some of those staff members were campers 10, 15 years ago, and now have like worked their way up and they're counselors.
Wow, very cool. Who and I know you weren't necessarily part of a selection process and whatnot. I'm guessing you weren't. I'm guessing that was done at like the Doug and Paul and Dustin level. But do you know how it came about that they filed or submitted? Is there one disc golf enthusiast that works there or lives there? Or how did it come about that this place was selected?
From what I know, it was a connection from Dustin through Eagles Wings, and he knew somebody from Eagles Wings who had heard about the camp. And when they were going through the emails, whoever guy that Dustin was connected with was telling him, "Hey, I've always wanted to go to this camp. You guys should reach out to them. They might be interested in some disc golf." And Dustin reached out, and they were super interested, and they sent us pictures of the property. And Dustin and Paul looked at it and said, "I think this can work." And I think Paul was very adamant about having the first project in Mexico because of his roots in his family, and kind of going back and discovering that. And this seemed like a really good fit.
Awesome. It makes perfect sense. What all was left behind? Some of the nitty gritty, so to speak. Obviously, baskets. What all was kind of left there to help almost literally plant this seed? What's still there? What remained?
So baskets, one temporary basket, and then dynamic discs made, I think, 250 discs that were like stamped with the La Paz stamp that I think I've seen on social media. And Austin and some other people collected a bunch of donated discs. So I would say push 400 discs that were left out there under the responsibility of the them out as they see fit. We got 2 UDisc accounts for the camp manager and then the course manager. And they're going to kind of course day-to-day operations. You kind of have to reserve and call ahead. So we have like a phone number on the page. And then we did an advanced clinic with the staff for teaching them how to teach disc golf. So we feel like they're pretty well prepared to any new kids that may come to camp on any given afternoon.
One quick thing we're just going to ask as a favor, as an attempt here. Can you try to disconnect your headphones? We're wondering if they're possibly causing like
it's cutting out a little bit.
Yeah, it's cutting out in and out. And so if we maybe just go straight laptop, it might come through a little cleaner. We'll try it at least. So leaving all that stuff out now, I would assume you envision leagues and clubs and that kind of stuff just slowly evolving, or did you hear of that? You said guys were already talking trash to one another. That sounds like the beginnings of a bag tag or some kind of league or something like that, doesn't it?
Yeah, so actually cool was that we had those expat disc golf, and there was 5 of them, and then those got together with like those senior camp, the 16, 17, 18. There was like who by the time we left made it to starting a week as soon as, so I wouldn't be a week or two. There's a week.
Okay. Well, that and for those that are maybe having a hard time, you saying that you wouldn't be surprised to see something come up. Is there any? We're going to kind of cut you a little short here, just because you're cutting in and out. And it's really tough for everyone to understand you. I'm already deaf in one ear, so it's really tough, Joey. is there any other major takeaway, any other main point though you want to leave with everyone here tonight from your experience and from the foundation? Is there any major takeaway you want to leave us with?
I would say the first that cool that the foundation is part of the manufacturers, and so it's not craft or Innova, and it's like, hey, we are disc golf to these communities access to that sport. That partnering with Dynamic is really cool to see on a project. And then the last thing I would say is less about having a disc golf come out of that area and more about giving kids an outlet and do instead of like go down the wrong road that they live in, and it's just like poverty that they come from is it's pretty astounding. And it's more like they kept saying that it's material poverty, like very people, they're very nice people, obviously have a lack of material possessions. Our big goal is like an outlet and a recreation kind of, I don't know, step away from that. And I know for me, it really saved us when we were teenagers. That's just the goal of the foundation is to get that opportunity.
Awesome. Well, and to quickly recap, if I could paraphrase what he just said, you say kind of what I was saying earlier. It's awesome that the foundation is not brand specific. Paul and the foundation are trying to branch out regardless of colors, so to speak, that you throw or wear or represent, and that all manufacturers will have opportunities to probably be involved with it. In this case, Dynamic Disc was the first, and then secondly, you were saying that this is great that it's an outlet for our youth. It's something that they can go do to participate in, and maybe they don't have a lot of the worldly possessions, but as we all know, disc golf can be an outlet for so many people for so many reasons, whether that's any kind of reliance on or abuse, substance abuse or anything like that, or for weight and health, or for just personal peace of mind, or just for something for kids to do, which I think is how we all kind of fell into it and fell in love, early on in all of our lives. Joey, and I know you found it earlier in your life, as did Johnny and I, and it's just a fun, unique recreational activity. So, all right, Joey. Well, we do appreciate it. In all seriousness, I said you speak 17 or 19 different languages. You clearly were brought in as one of your assets is the fact that, like you said, you are fluent in different languages. How many do you really speak? Don't disappoint us.
I'm fluent in English and Spanish, and I took years of school, but I wouldn't say I'm fluent.
Okay.
So two.
Oh, well, I was giving you more credit than that. You don't speak Skype.
Well, thanks.
That's the problem. Tonight you don't speak Skype. No, but in all seriousness, we thank you. We're going to cut you loose because I think it's straining when everyone's trying to hear the words, to no fault of your own, of course. It's just an internet thing, I'm guessing. But congratulations. I mean, you got to be a part of a really cool part of history. And, of course, tipping our hats and big shout out to the entire foundation. I think it is so much more than just Paul and so much more than a manufacturer. Obviously, the greater good and the greater cause to me it's
big for the sport.
Yeah, is incredible. So nice work out there. And it was because of you I saw a lot of the, kind of the daily updates, thanks to you doing some Instagram stories and sharing them out there. And it looked like a lot of fun, but yet very rewarding. So nice work out there.
Well done. And we'll see you out on tour. You plan on cashing a lot? Yeah,
now it's just time to beat Paul in a tournament, right? That's next.
It's easier said than done. Yeah, down in Mexico, but it's not the
same. Oh, no tour bonuses for beating him on the 9-hole sub 250-foot course, huh? Okay.
Well, I mean, you'll get there.
I don't know. I'd tell Discraft and then see if they either demote him or promote you. One of the two. I don't know.
We can make it happen.
All right, Joey. Seriously.
Give him a call right away. I'll hike and be like, "Hey, I beat your best guy."
Beat your boy.
Where am I at?
There you go. All right, Joey, seriously, we really do appreciate you joining us. Thanks for the insight and the information. Nice work out there. And, yeah, we'll see you back out on the tour in the next week or two.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Good night,
All
buddy.
right, see ya. Bye. All right, and there we have it. A little insight. We, of course,
apologize for the little bit of Skype issue that we had. I don't know if it was noise canceling on his side, because sometimes if you have an echoey room, the noise canceling will kick in. But he had headphones on at first, and we were still having it. So usually the headphones kind of cancel the noise canceling. So I think it was just an internet issue on our part. So if you want to know more, please by all means reach out to the Paul McBeth Foundation, and I'm sure check out their socials. And we can you can get that.
There you go. So again, yeah, as he's saying, hotel Wi-Fi sometimes it can be great, sometimes it can be not so great. But we got the gist of it, and again, congratulations to everyone involved. It is a really unique opportunity for sure. In speaking of cool, unique opportunities, what about this weekend's action, Johnny? Seen a little
what happened?
PDGA major
what? I don't
taking
remember that.
place. There were 54 unique holes. There were 266 women. There were 17 divisions. I don't know how many states. I didn't look that up, darn it. How many states represented? If you had to guess, how many? Out in Cali.
COVID,
yeah.
I'm going to go with 22.
Okay. All right, well, we need a research department now, so somebody could go out. I'm guessing if someone from the PDGA were listening, and we know they all are, so maybe somebody has that number off the top of their head. I'm not in a position to go hunt that.
What do
all
I
down
get if
for
I
the
nail
next
it right
9
on the
minutes.
head?
Let me think. Well, I was about to buy an ice cream Snickers bar for some dessert tonight, but then with the line and absolutely nobody helping at said line, I eventually just threw it back in the freezer and walked away. I was going to share that with you.
I don't like Snickers.
But frozen ones are okay.
No.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Okay. Well, we are being informed on the board. We appreciate it that there are 50 states.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, there are. So for now, unless you know of more or less that we should be aware of. So I'm going to reach out to Paige here in a moment and see if she's going to be available. Again, I know she had a pretty crazy night as well. She's out on the West Coast doing her thing, getting prep for this weekend. You were just talking about how almost every, well, not almost, every effort, legitimate effort being exhausted to try to host the live broadcast this weekend. So the Disc Golf Network is still going to offer a live press conference that I assume will be taking place on Thursday.
I believe you're
the
correct.
day before the event. And then also you're going to still have all of your standard post-production teams that were already going to be there that really have no impact on
CCDG
live.
covering FPO, Jomez covering MPO. I think we see GK and maybe Gatekeeper as well.
That sounds about right. That sounds about right. And I thought to myself, as soon as the news dropped, I'm like, wow, I wonder what flights would look like. I'd love to go out there and cover some action as well. Get another card. But yeah, flights are
expensive to an expensive place to like it.
Bingo.
Not necessarily one of those ones where you could, where
just
you
like kind of just
could just
work. Yeah.
You work your way into it.
And then I would need to bring at least one more person or have a second camera ideally, or I think that'd probably be required, which would be expected.
Let me blow off my family.
Okay.
This weekend.
I like where this is going, and then you and I go.
You and I go.
We'll just fire up the Smashbox jet. It's been
a little bit.
It has.
I have to dust it off.
It's been a while.
It's got to be the jet's got to be refueled. But heck yeah, Smashbox jet it is.
That would be a good idea. So, but yeah, of course, look for all of that post production to come into play here this weekend.
So the stories this weekend. Obviously, Paige Pierce.
Yep.
But other than Paige Pierce, who we're going to talk to hopefully in the next 10 minutes or so, Ella Hansen showing up, third place. Probably should have been, I don't want to say should have been tied for second. Had a very rough final hole.
Yeah.
Missed
one putt.
Like an 8-foot putt
right
into the front of the basket to tie for second. She was probably the second biggest story in the FPO division. So congratulations to One Throw Ella. Moving over from the Ultimate taking home a $2,100 check for your first major. Not bad at all. Juliana Korver winning in Pro Masters women 40 plus, beating 20 women. So she was the 21st. She took home $2,500. Probably one of her biggest paydays in a long
I think
time.
it might have been a career.
Seriously?
You click. It's
Oh,
2 clicks
man.
away. Click on her name.
Yep.
Click on her wins.
Career
And then you
wins.
can sort by prize, and it is the largest.
Wow. That
just shows you how far we've come.
how far we've come in the last 15 years.
Yeah, she in 2000, just to give
yeah,
us a reference.
Her next highest was the 2000 professional PDGA World Championships, where she won the event and won $1,765.
And then 3 years later, when she won Worlds, it was for $1,500. And in between those two, in 2001 in Arizona,
It was $1,400.
Houston area,
Yeah.
she won $1,450. So certainly, this is a PDGA major in the FP40 division, and it is her single largest payout ever. So in some ways, that's really great and awesome and exciting, and in some ways, it almost feels a little sad and depressing that it's taken us to get here. But we're here.
We're here.
We're getting there, and
yeah,
I think that's the takeaway there.
Yeah, so that's pretty amazing. She is phenomenal. She's an ageless wonder, and it is just lit. It feels like it lit a new fire into her, seeing how she's really excited about the professionalism of the sport, and she is signed up for more FPO challenges on the Pro Tour.
Yeah, well,
not FP40.
Correct.
FPO.
I saw the post today where she said that she was in fact moving from FP40 for the Masters Cup this weekend into FPO, so that she was moving herself.
And this is a course where it makes a lot of sense because this course, A, she's familiar with it, but B, it's not really a distance course. It's much more accuracy and green play, where making sure that you land in the right spot on the green and that you land softly and whatnot. So I'm excited to see how she fares in the FPO division. Pro Masters women's 50 plus, Lorena Dostal 60, Andy Young, Pro Masters 65, Lori Cloyes Chupa. I'm just going to go through just the pro winners here tonight. But congratulations to all the winners, all your major champions. It is it's pretty awesome. Second place, we can't go anywhere on FPO without talking about Haley King, who going into that third round, we thought we were going to get ourselves quite an awesome battle between, as Mo had put it, the king and the queen, so to speak, Haley King and the queen of FPO, Paige Pierce. Unfortunately, within about 2 holes, it was over. we kind of,
in hindsight, we now can say that. We didn't know that at the time. That would have been a stretch, and people would have driven to Ben and then strangled me if I would have said such a thing.
Let me say, you couldn't say it publicly. You couldn't say it publicly. I was saying it in the booth, behind the scenes, saying, "Okay, at this point now, it's over." Like Paige had like 5 or 6 strokes after 2 holes.
Yes,
and there was just, on that type of course, there was not a lot of danger. There was a little bit, but not a lot. It just didn't seem like the type of course where Paige would lose those type of strokes. So I think a lot of people were thinking that you just, as a unbiased commentator, someone who has to maintain interest in the round and this and that, you cannot publicly say that at the time. But behind the scenes, we were already looking at other storylines. Let me put it that way. So amazing. So Haley King, second place. Ella third, Missy Gannon for her 4th place, 5th place tie with Holly Finley and Katrina Allen, 7th place Kona Star Panis, 8th place Lisa Fakis, tie for 9th with Sayananda and Jessica Weiss. So congratulations to our top 10 finishers at this major. A lot of fun.
Yeah, and of course, I know about this time last week or so, a lot of conversation was focused around prep time, the amount of courses, the the length of the course, the challenge of the courses, all of those things got very much discussed at length via social media, and then the follow-ups to all of that. And I don't know if I really even have anywhere to go with it after the fact. Now that it's done, I hope that, things that were said either.
There were some things said about the quality of the courses and or the distance, and I don't want to say quality because I think the courses were a fine quality, but some people had felt that the par 3 style course maybe wasn't fitting of a major these days. And I'm personally going to disagree with that. I didn't love that it was mostly par 3. I would have liked to see a little variety, maybe another course that was a par 4 and play a par 3 course. But if you look at the statistics, I mean, there were only 10 women
under par. 9.
So
10,
something along those lines. Yeah, 10 women under par. I mean, the courses played to the quality of a majority of the field. And clearly we have outliers that, your Paige Pierce, your Haley King. It's hard to put Ella in that category quite yet. I mean, she had a great outing here, but that are head and shoulders above distance-wise. So it's one of those things that, it's hard to favor a particular style of player.
I feel like I think one of the biggest takeaways that, will have to be discussed moving forward with an event like the U.S. Women's and really any of our big major events, or I'll generically use the term major, any of our really large-scale events, is we have to keep looking at what is the intended purpose, what are the intended goals of said event. And I think that if I could just generically wrap up, I feel like the whole conversation from last week into one bullet point is, let's reanalyze what every event's intended goal is, and then we build from there. Things may shift one way or another, divisions may get broken up, and courses may get selected, and so on and so forth, but we have to look at the intended purpose of the event, and then from there, I think some decisions need to be made, and other things can be addressed. I think that would be my big takeaway on that, and I think that's the best way I can say it without beating it to death.
That sounds too logical, Terry Miller.
Speaking of sounding too logical, can we, and I know this is going to sound very biased because one of the newer people in the booth recently has been Hannah McBeth, and then she joined me graciously after just a simple request of it to join me in some post-production coverage that I did from another event from 2 weeks ago from the Huck Central. You can find it on my YouTube now. Can people just get over the fact that you do not have to have been a top-level, world-class, best ever participant in any specific sport to then still be a knowledgeable or insightful, helpful, productive commentator?
No. I'm just saying, no, people can't get over it. I agree with you. I'm just saying, no, people can't get over it. I think back to the NBA when Marv Albert was dominating, and that guy was a beast on the
all those titles he has, all those and Bob Costas. Tell me how many.
Jim Nantz, when he was crushing Tiger on the golf course, amazing.
I know. I
leaving him in his dust.
Now I get it. You may like styles. You may think someone's well informed or not, or you may like a personal vocabulary or cadence. Like there's a lot of things you can like and dislike. But let's get over the fact that you don't have to be one of the best to ever play said sport or activity to then host it or to commentate on it or provide insight on it. Tell me when the last time you saw Steve Harvey taking down all the Family Feuds, right? I don't think he ever dominated that. I don't. Do you?
Great example.
I'm just so many. There are though.
I never once saw Drew Carey on
playing Price is Right. How many times did he win that? Never. He never won it. And I know I'm getting a little extreme and sideways with it. It's just that pure logic. Again, now if you dislike someone's
Style,
and things that they're doing,
voice.
that's fine. But don't disqualify anyone. And I'm going to go out on a not so far limb here and say, I've heard some of our top athletes talk. Some of them are stupid, like just not bright. And so just because they're super good, does that automatically qualify them to have a position of commentary or play-by-play or color? Does that automatically guarantee them that? Because that's kind of what your logic is saying. Well, as if you're good or we're good or are good, then you can speak on the subject. I don't know. There's some idiots out there. So
That's true.
And I know this does sound very biased at this time. And this I could have said all of this 5 years ago, just the same. I got challenged in post-production this last weekend as well, which that I let roll off my back so much quicker. It's fine. Like, I've never seen you. How dare you criticize so-and-so? I've never seen you win tournaments.
Wow.
Dude, you just found disc golf 2 months ago, you moron. So we could start there. And second of all, I have won tournaments. It was years ago. I do other things now. So it's just, yeah.
I liked the commentary trio that we had in the booth with you and Hannah and Val. I thought you each brought a different flavor to the commentary. I always think you steer a very good ship. You, in general, you used to throw the commercials really well. I don't know what I don't know what you do anymore, but
I'm like 800 rated because I'm trying to get clever.
I know, and and
it doesn't work.
You
ever.
dropped the ball a few times this weekend. In general, you're obviously very good steering the ship. Val is your knowledgeable pro. I mean, she's excitable. She's fun. Hannah just brings the quality information. Like, she's researched.
Yeah.
And it's a very good trio to have in there. I mean, it just worked. I thought it worked out pretty well, to be honest. So
well, and if you don't like it, I'm still honestly I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
My main point though was don't disqualify somebody because they haven't won a world title or because they've only been in the sport for 5 years. I mean, again, it's let's think a little bit bigger here, people.
Yeah.
Anyway, a lot of people saying, you know what really grinds my gears? Well, Disc Blaster also says Terry's the most trollable person on YouTube. That you're right, Disc Blaster. I can be because I call out people like you that love to be trolling jerks, and then I just ban you so you can't post on my channel. So some days I win. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. I do want to say again, hats off to the crew at the event. One of the things I got back, even though I was not there, one of the messages that I got back sent to me was that the volunteer effort was insane. And so I wasn't personally there to see it. We only
At the
see what we,
USWDGC?
yeah, we don't,
That's great.
we don't, necessarily get to see all of those efforts on camera because of what we're actually covering. But to hear that the efforts were out of this world, I think is incredible. So, just everyone, nice work. Then they could move into that conversation of courses, players, divisions. We can have all that conversation later. But for what they did here, sounds like it was awesome. And fun fact, the 2022 USWDGC moves to about 70 miles west of where me and Johnny V are sitting right now. It will be in Madison, Wisconsin. And Madison, Wisconsin has some of these courses have hosted a national tour in the very first year or two of the national tour existing. We've had that. We've had countless A-tiers in Madison. The Amateur World Championships were in Madison back in 2017 or 16, somewhere in that time frame.
Sounds
a few
right.
years ago. Very, very excited that all this will be back. We'll be heading over to Madison, Wisconsin for next year.
My understanding is they're going to be playing Elver and Elver and Velarda Ast.
Yeah, Token Creek.
Yep,
Okay.
Token Creek. So, which Elver is a much heavier wooded course. Depending on, I don't know the pads they're playing. Probably longs is my guess, but so it's much more heavily wooded. And Velarda Ast, or Token Creek as it's called, is a wider open long course. So you're going to get two good solid courses that you and I have a lot of experience on, and that I think are good diversity. I think you're going to see some pretty different golf on those two courses.
Yeah, and not to get too far off the fairway or in the weeds on this, but
looking in
yeah,
the future,
Velarda
man.
Ast or Token Creek is definitely more open and flat. And then when you go to a course like Elver, which is on the other side of town by 25 or so minutes, Elver, like you were saying, has multiple tees, has had multiple pin positions, and has a really good variety, some very wooded shots and then some somewhat open shots, and plays all around a hill. Not to be confused with the other one in town as well that's fun to play, being High Stand Park, which essentially plays around a large hillside as well that's out there. So, yeah, some incredible courses. There's a reason that AM Worlds was held here or held there a few years ago, and Mike Batkin and crew, we trust, will put on a very solid event. So, should be pretty cool out there. All right, I am going to send a message. We'll see if Paige doesn't look like she's ready just yet, but hopefully we'll be able to hear from her soon. Anything else? Any other major takeaways for you in terms of what we saw from this weekend? Any surprises? I know you were kind of talking about Ella.
Ella was really the big surprise, and it wasn't so much. I mean, she comes from the ultimate world.
Nope.
Very
Very successful
in the ultimate world on top of that. So it's no surprise that she can throw a disc. I think what surprised me a little bit more was the lines she was hitting. I think that these courses favored some of our slightly longer throwing FPO players. Not too much, because most of the holes were 300 to 400 feet. So, but she was able to pick up some of those bonus birdies on the ones that did push the 350 to 400 range. So pretty exciting to see her kind of step up. She's a Discmania. She can be, on the Crush team as well now, as she is one of our probably longer throwing FPO players in our division. Overall, she played really well. I think she had some issues with putting, but that's kind of to be expected at her newness to competitive play and just putting in general. I think there was other than Paige, but there was some putting that could have been improved upon this weekend by a lot of competitors. It was tough goings for some of them. I know Kona had a really good Instagram post about her struggles, and I think we saw it on a couple other players that just, it didn't seem to connect the drives and the putts.
Yeah, and I think anyone would say this, and I don't sound all too brilliant by spewing it out. Putting is one of those chances, I feel like, that can really separate you from the field. If you can go out and have a solid performance on the putting green, which I feel like is cliche or as oversimplified as it sounds, like it's one of the easiest things to practice. You get to a basket and you can put in as many reps as you need to. And when you're putting well, just from inside the circle, you don't even worry necessarily about the bonus putts from 45 and 50 and 70. Make every putt inside the circle, which is clearly so much easier said than done. But when you're doing that, you are going to always separate yourself from the field. And whether those are for pars or birdies, it doesn't matter. Putting I always equate putting to throwing free throws in basketball. It's like there's one set basic goal. It's right there in front of you, and if you're a terrible free throw shooter, there's only one way to fix it. That's reps on the free throw line, assuming your form's not terrible, but hopefully that's what you're working through. You can go out and fix that. And of course this goes for MPO and FPO. It doesn't matter what division you're in, but I just feel like it's like, and I feel like putting also jumps off the page at you so much quicker. It's because it's so much more painful when you're terrible inside the circle. If you're struggling inside the circle, you're expecting to make something, or everyone else is expecting you to make it. When you don't, it just becomes that much harsher.
Yeah, Ella took third place, and she was 37th in C1X putting. 37th.
Did you read that right?
Says C1X 37th,
Oh, okay,
61%.
okay, yeah. I thought you were reading incorrectly reading the stat above it.
Nope. That was
Okay,
that's a
yeah,
different
yeah,
one.
yeah. So
no, she was third in circle 1 in regulation. So she was getting inside the green almost as good as anybody.
mhm.
It was just completing that. So
Yeah,
and again, there are other women that I saw on the course that I have a little bit, I don't say frustration, that I look at and go, I really would love to see you improve your putting because you've been doing this for so long. Ella's new to the sport. She's probably still finding a putting stroke.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people out there have changed their putting stroke, Yuli, 17 times to make sure that, to find the one that finally feels comfortable for you. So she is going to do nothing but get better. And I'm really excited to see if she, I'm assuming she's going to stick with the sport, to see what she can do, to see her start hitting, I don't say hitting more lines, but shot shaping a little bit more.
Sure.
Because it didn't seem like there was a lot of Anheuser shots this weekend that really needed to be hit. There were some flex shots, but that was a little more distance. So
Yeah, and if it bends left to right, I'm not sure Ella's too worried about that in terms of having the forehand.
Exactly.
I agree, and be very clear here. We're not picking on her or referencing her with putting. This is just a very generic statement that it is such an easy place to pick up strokes out there.
Yeah.
And that's really an interesting testament that happens to be attached to her when you say that she was 37th and still finished third in the tournament. She was 37th in Circle 1 putting. Think of all the opportunities that you have there to clean that up.
Yeah, and she hit some really big ones outside of the circle. Very true. She drained like 2 of them outside the circle, and then hit a couple ones right on circle's edge. So it definitely wasn't all bad. Not when you're taking third place.
No.
So she was kind of the exciting story of the weekend, and I'm really excited to see more from her. Haley King kind of did what Haley King does. She's kind of a streaky player. She plays really, really well, and then she kind of has her off days. And unfortunately, Sunday was kind of an off day for her. And it just sometimes, it's better, I think, if Monday's your off day. And unfortunately, that wasn't the case. But either way, she still played very well the first 2 rounds and well enough on the final day to hold on to second.
Yeah, we can briefly talk about, as you see other stats, though, briefly talk about the overall performance in it for those that care about ratings, which we know plenty do. I care about them. I don't die on them, but Paige Pierce this weekend, when she was out there, averaged 10-21 golf. Her first 2 rounds, 10-14, 10-16 respectively, and then her final round being 10-32. So average 10-21 golf. Let's just be real. Anytime, especially in the FPO division, someone's averaging 10-21 golf, they're not getting beat. But
that ain't bad.
Regardless of getting beat or not, or how many they win by, 10-21 golf is solid golf all weekend long. So
yeah, and Haley having the highest rated round in USWDGC history at 10:38. Amazing.
Yeah,
she was on fire. It was a little bit. And I don't want to go back into this subject about post-production, only one card and this and that. It was a little bit sad that you couldn't watch a final round of that, but you could watch it on live because I think we showed almost every shot of hers. We had a camera guy that was there making sure that we were getting every shot because we knew she was lighting it up and she was making a run at Paige. So we focused on her. That's usually what we tell our guy when we send another card. We'll give him a player or two, say, all right, focus on that player or those 2 players and, point your camera at the other people. But unless they do something really cool, we're probably not going to show them. Well, Haley King, just every shot was cool and she was performing very well. So she shot a 10:38 round, and the only place to see it is DGN. So if you're interested in checking that out, go check out the coverage and watch Haley King tear up a course.
Yeah, very just incredible to see her performance, and clearly not that I needed proof. I don't think anyone that's really in the game needs any proof of her capabilities, but if anyone was wondering, like, was there any question about how good she was when she closed out last year, then coming back this year to win 2 national tours, and then to be right in the thick of it for this weekend? I feel like, yeah, Haley King is clearly a force that we're going to have to continue to talk about, and that's going to be out there challenging more weeks than she's not. So very cool to see that for sure. Somebody had asked a great question, and they didn't ask a question. They said Kristen Tatar was not there. She was not there. That's not much that can be done about that. Nor was Evelina, nor was Henna. The main 3 international players that we know all can and likely will be challenging our top FPO players. I mean, there's not anything we can do about them not being there. But what is exciting,
I heard some rumors.
Kristen Tatar and Silver Lot will be here in the U.S. and will be here for...
Hopefully.
I heard it's a done deal.
I heard they're going to Croatia to do a 2-week quarantine before coming over. So if everything goes well and they're able to do it, then they'll be over. I don't consider, the way things are in the world right now,
Sure.
I don't consider anything 100% until they step foot on this.
Well, yeah, there could be a
dirt.
major outbreak, and Worlds might not happen in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, right? Anything. You're right.
100%.
Anything is on the table.
But they are making an attempt to make it into the States, which will be exciting for our FPO field.
Yeah, and MPO. Don't leave us Silver.
Oh, Silver, yes, MPO.
Sure. Kristen Tatar focused. I mean, Silver's pretty swell himself.
He's a great guy.
He is.
And he,
you're implying he's not going to challenge for the win.
I'm implying that he could take top 10, but I do not believe he'll be challenging for the win. As opposed to, I don't know if Kristen Tatar will, but there's a good chance that she's going to be a top 3.
Yeah, and I will, just to follow up and read a specific item or two right off of Kristen's Instagram. She was talking about not being there for the U.S. women's this weekend and being able to defend and such, and how she was cheering from afar. She writes, "Good news is that if everything goes as planned, me and Silver will be in the U.S. World Championships, or U.S. for the World Championships. I just got vaccinated yesterday, and Silver got a vaccine a few weeks before. We will fly out to Croatia on the 31st of May to spend 2 weeks outside of Schengen area. Hopefully on the 14th, we'll be in the U.S. So, of course, talking about what you just said, very, very exciting. And
I'm pumped. I mean, it's great to have another top competitor play, because there is, before this, it was more than likely going to be the Paige, Kat, and Haley show. That's just odds are.
Numbers are telling us that.
Yeah,
sure.
based on your numbers. And right now, I mean, with Kristen Tatar coming in, that throws an entire wrench into the FPO field in a good way. We are going to see one of the top-rated women be able to play Worlds, and you, as a fan, you have to get excited about that.
I don't know who's not.
Maybe some of the FPO competitors, maybe like the people that average from 5th to 10th. They're like, oh god,
like there's one more spot, or get pushed
down.
down.
I gotta beat her. So ultimately, really excited that Kristen and Silver are going to be in the United States. I wonder if they're just staying for Worlds, if they're going to do like a mini tour. Like it feels like if you're here, hit a few spots, hit a couple pro tours.
I'm not
make it a.
I'm not certain as to what they're. Yeah, that would be a great follow up and question is if they're planning on, if they're able to.
Who knows?
I think there's some challenges with regard to
family
visas and work visas and things of that nature. I think all of that can come into play as part of the overall challenges. But yeah, that is a good question. I would love to know that as well. All right. Well, very, very exciting, as we were saying. Anything that jumped out at you otherwise from the non-U.S. women's this weekend? I mean, obviously the news with Paul and the foundation putting a course in Mexico. Was there anything else for you? Did you see any of the socials? Everybody still visiting Yosemite and that area. A lot of our players out at de la Viega. So a lot of them got there earlier to compete. And I saw some practice round shenanigans.
I'd just like to pour one out for
one of your homies.
One of my homies.
Which one?
Unfortunately, Jeremy Coling's golf game.
Oh, hey-oh.
Because he did just propose to his girlfriend, Jules, now fiance. She said yes. So clearly, as we all know, once you propose or get engaged or get married, your golf game's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, that is what everybody says on the internet.
Right when they started dating.
So it must be true. No, in all seriousness, congratulations to Jeremy Coling. It's great to see him. He was in Hawaii this weekend, so he got to propose there, I believe, is what he did, and wish him nothing but happiness. Yeah,
and it's funny the amount of people after it was seen, the amount of people that either posted online or made comments about, oh, as soon as we heard he was going there, that was my guess, is that he was going to propose. A lot of people said that. And so if you had that square, or if you had that on your old in your pool, in the Big Germ getting married pool, or when or where he would propose, if that's what you had selected, well, then you were the winner, because it went down. So of course, congratulations to Germ as they were out there in Hawaii. I don't know if they're even back yet, but I don't have time to stalk them that much more on social media. Somebody out here says Jules has made Big Germ a much better man. She's wonderful. She's been delightful ever since I think I met her very early on when they started dating, and a lot of big events that I've been around where she's always she always has a smile on her face, and so of course hoping to make even Big Germ that much more fun and entertaining to be around. Okay. Now they're saying he's back. Good.
Oh, good. He's back.
Good.
The only other big event this weekend was the Michigan Disc Golf Hall of Fame Classic. It was an A tier over in Michigan. So clearly, if it's the Michigan Disc Golf Hall of Fame,
I was going to say, that's a good place for it to be. It'd be weird otherwise.
You'd think someone from Michigan should win that.
Oh, no.
Sorry. Someone from Wisconsin goes over. Vincent Polidori from the Milwaukee area here. We've got to play with him at quite a few of our putting leagues in the last couple of years. Great player, 1,004 rated, goes out and wins in the MPO field, winning $1,060. He shot a 1033, 1030, and 1054. So that's some solid shooting over his rating, beating Willie Prince, Patrick Burke, Corey Seelig, Dave Felberg, Ian Hamilton, Dan Schlitter, and Danny Beauchamp. So those are some solid names that he put down. Vince is one of those. He's one of those low-rated guys that you really have to look out for, because he's just doing nothing but get better right now. So, so if you see him on the list and you're playing fantasy disc golf, don't be afraid to pick that guy, because
he good.
And in the open women's field, we saw Ragna win.
Yeah. So
congratulations to Ragna. She won by 4 strokes over Christine Jennings. So Ragna still has it. She shot a 932, 948, and 954. So those are 3 rounds over her rating. So that is always good to see. So congratulations to Ragna. She's, as I always say, she's one of those players. I know she's got a family life and all this other. I would love to see her on tour, because she's in one of those, it feels like perennial top 10 players when she's in, I'll say fighting shape, so to speak, but in the regular disc golf groove that you can get into. And she's just such a pleasure to watch play. But unfortunately, she has a real life and husband and kids.
Real life, yep. She does. I do want to give a quick shout out. Some of these people have been good friends that Johnny and or I have known for 20 plus years. At the Michigan Disc Golf Hall of Fame Classic, looking, as I see here on the Facebooks, big shout out. This year's class included Hav Kowalski, a gentleman I stay with, him and his wife Amy Jo, who I've stayed with in now Arizona. They moved out there years ago, and just one of the greatest humans and souls in disc golf. Hav, part of the class. Dave Felberg, of course, part of the class. Dr. Stephen Peck and Gunnar Nollendorfs have all gone into the Michigan Disc Golf Hall of Fame with regard to this weekend and whatnot. So congratulations to them. Very, very cool. I see also in the Hall of Fame the likes of, I don't know who's all in this picture. It looks like Sue Stevens, a world champion, LL Zoo, Larry LeBond. So some pretty incredible people. If you're in the Midwest and have ever played disc golf in Michigan, you probably know and or have high-fived or hugged almost all those people I've spoken to. Some good people out there for sure. So very, very cool to see. All right.
Did I see Paige is starting to get ready? Is that what I see?
She says that she worries that her signal might be a little sketch, but of course, we're gonna have to try it out regardless. She said she's just got one bar of service, but we'll have to see if we can get her in, and if she's not able to.
Well, it would just be par for the course today.
Well, I mean, yeah, they're all. What are they all doing? Hanging on at De La, trying to.
She probably is. She's probably in the parking lot at De La.
Like, Paige, we could have told you signal's not very good there. The Pro Tour and Smashbox for 5 years could tell you that signal is not exactly good there. So we'll see if we can get her on here in a moment. Oh, and I will give a quick shout out. Mike Jewell. On his Pin Deep YouTube page says if anyone wants to see the Masters Cup drone course preview, that is out there on Pin Deep's page. So I will give that a little shout out because that sounds good to see and to hear.
Well, one of the things we could do for Paige is if worse comes to worse, we could kill video and just get it to. If we just try to get a little audio interview with her, if that would work out a little bit better for her.
Right. I will message her right now to we'll give it the old college try, and we'll see what happens. And if, like you said, if signal's a little sketch, we may pull back the video portion of it and see if we can still make sure we get her audio on it. How's that sound? I did want to give and I got to give a shout out. This is to Matt the Stat Parker. We love you, buddy. He had a few details for me. I'm going to backtrack for a moment. He says Ella Hansen nearly doubled her career earnings.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool. And then that's also where I had learned initially that Juliana Korver had earned her largest paycheck ever at $2,500. So, two very cool stats, one of which I already mentioned. But thank you, Matt the Stat Parker, for always being on top of it. And,
is he the guy behind Statmando?
I don't think so. Or PDGA Stats.
Yeah, PDGA Stats. I've seen two new stats pop up. I don't know if Dion has anything to do with Statmando. I do know that he was pushing that earlier. So Dion, friend of the show, was talking about Statmando. That seems like something that would be right up his alley. He's one of those smart guys. But so if you're interested in kind of some random just disc golf stats, follow Statmando and PDGA Stats, and they have been kind of putting out just general information. Like a couple hours ago, they said in March 2021, Waco Annual Charity Open tied the 2019 USDGC for most 1,000 rated players in the field with 88. Before that, they talked about Brady Hanna holding the record for the least amount of strokes thrown into DGPT history. Hanna shot a 53 in round one of the 2016 Legacy Silver Cup here in Manitowoc in Wisconsin before receiving a DNF for the rest of the event. So he has not played in a DGPT event since. So he has the lowest score in any DGPT event, and then that's it. Played one round, said, drop the mic, and goes.
I don't even think he played a whole round. Not with a score of 53, he didn't. Oh, okay. Well, maybe in round one he.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
okay. Maybe he did. I read that as he had like a 53 and then he quit, but no, that would make sense. He completed the round.
Yeah, dropped the mic and said, "You guys will never beat this," and just left the sport.
I think he does some fishing.
He does a lot of fishing. So anyway, Statmando, giving good stats. We'll see what
else they can what else they can come up with. All right. Daniel says, "I don't think they're watching Smashbox." Yeah, that's what you think, Daniel. We may have other and other stats. There's another one that I see that you have up actually on your Twitter. That Holly Finley, with this last weekend with her finish, she says this will be my third $1,000 plus payout in a row. And I know some of you are thinking, well, I don't know what you're thinking, but that's significant. That is very cool. And
for an FPO field,
for an FPO,
or
for any
MPO
player,
field.
for any player, that there's something to be said of that. For an FPO player to say that is her third $1,000+ paycheck in a row, I think is very impressive. And I'm not slighting Holly by saying I think literally anyone being able to say that, I think is very cool. And I think that says a lot about our sport and the continued growth that we're experiencing right now in the FPO division.
Thank you for the super chat, Mark Hill.
What?
It is much appreciated.
Thank you, Mark. We very much appreciate it. And Mark, I don't know if that's just a down payment. No, it's not. But I recently, Johnny, I gotta share the news with the world. Today, picked up another 10,000 My Disc in a Box shippers. 10,000 more. So if you need to ship out any discs, I'm your guy. My Disc in a Box.
Yeah, 10,000 of them.
10,000 more. Yes. I offer them in 100 count packs. So there's just a pretty easy plug. Okay. Golf House does ask, Terry, where can we find a list of FPO players with the most major wins? I can share it with you right now. Paige Pierce.
16.
16.
After that, you think it's Juliana? Or do you think it'd be Elaine?
Probably. That's a good question. I was going to say, it'd be easy to look.
Yeah, you can't even guess that one.
I would guess Elaine.
I would guess Elaine too.
Just because she has continued to play every single year. She's at 299, our win counter.
I know she did not win this weekend.
Oh my! Why am I even talking about her then?
I don't know. Schwebby did though. So I think he's at 297.
Oh no!
So there's still a chance, Schwebby. We got the count.
All right, I'm very.
Schwebby says Elaine. Sue and Raleigh says Elaine surely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here it is. I've got them in front of us. 91 worlds, 92 worlds, 93, 94, 97. A couple of U.S. women's, 2009. So 13, 14, 15.
Oh, so
now, a number of those, and that clearly doesn't take anything away from her. A number of those being age protected. Elaine has 7 in the open women's division, and then she has 8 in the FP 40 division. So 7 in open women and 8 in FP 40 to put that all together for a total of 15 majors at the professional level. Oh, Dust, thank you for the super chat.
Thanks, Dust.
We appreciate that.
Keep knocking out that commentary coverage. For those of you, I think we talked about it before. He did some coverage for So Blue Productions, and I thought he did a really good job. So keep it up, and start reaching out to people to do more of that.
All right, I apologize. I'm going to try to see if we've got Paige here yet again, and hopefully we can get her in on the line in just a minute. Cody and Emily are out there. Cody, I know you sent me something probably about some good information. I'm guessing Emily won this weekend. That would be my guess. I don't think I had a chance to even read it, but if I had to take a quick guess, that's what it would be. Sorry. Also, we'll have to see whether it's Masters Cup or maybe you can even look on the Masters Cup list for this weekend. Another storyline that it was a story, but it didn't evolve past much of the mentioning is just the fact that Sarah Hokum not able to compete, and now she has skipped withdrawn. I don't want to sound skip like it's a negative thing, but she has withdrawn from the OTB and then also from being at the USW DGC. And in talking to Sarah, I hope she doesn't mind me sharing this.
She's still registered for Masters Cup.
Good. I'll pose the question to you is, let's just play pretend and say Sarah, which we're very much grappling with playing or not. If she plays this last weekend, and let's just throw it out there and say she takes 22nd. You know, she's the 3rd or 4th highest rated woman there, but due to injury or whatever, she takes 22nd. Is that a poor decision? And let's just say, let's take this a step further though and say her playing doesn't further injure her,
Yeah.
even though she would never know that, and we're just making up a what-if scenario. But if let's say she plays and somehow she knows it won't hurt her, but she ends up finishing 22nd, that's just truly the best she can muster because she's injured, is it worth her playing at that point? Do you feel like it is? And I guess I picked 22nd. Let's say she takes last catch, which was probably actually around 22nd. But does that mean are you concerned about a world ranking? Are you concerned about
I
a
would hope
rating?
not.
Are you
hope
concerned about
not.
any of those things when you're one of the top FPOs already?
I would hope not. I would hope you're not concerned with any of that. I hope you're concerned with your, with your personal safety. And I mean, some people just, if they can't put out their best effort, they don't want to play. And if that's the way she looks at it, if she can't put out her top effort, then maybe it's not worthwhile playing. Someone like me, or you probably, we're cross country, something happens, you kind of tweak an ankle or a knee or something. I'm probably still out there playing, and, assuming I'm not going to hurt myself, I know I'm probably not going to hurt myself much more. If it costs me 10, 12, 20 spots, I'm out there to play, but she gets to play all the time. So I would hope it would not, that those scenarios wouldn't be the deciding factor, personally. That it was simply a safety-based issue on her own part.
Okay, so I'm getting... I've gotten a message from Paige. I'm not sure exactly. It's in video format, so I'm not exactly sure what it says. Sending me a video. I'm going to try and listen to this.
You might want to mute your phone.
Yeah, go ahead.
Or I'm going to mute Terry's audio because I don't know what that says. So... Terry's listening to, I hear something about she's got a golf bag on her back. This is exciting audio.
I apologize. I'm trying to make heads or tails of what she's telling me. I hear what she's telling me, but I'm confused as to the intent of the message.
And she's not on Skype right now.
Okay.
I mean, I can try dialing her up anyway.
No. I apologize.
We all apologize for this fantastic episode of Smashbox TV tonight.
I know we're really killing it.
Our first guest, you could hear every other word.
And our second guest, you can't hear any of her words.
Can't hear any words because she hasn't called in.
I mean, if she just wants, how about you interview me as if I'm Paige? I'll answer for her after her.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
All right. I know she has some other stuff going on that we can talk about, and if I have to jump over to that, I will, and maybe just jump in.
Well, there was talks, and it was commented on the stream that she has a documentarian following her. So, so we saw some extra coverage, some extra cameras out there. So that's kind of exciting. That I think I saw something along the lines of her doing her documenting her year from, the beginning. I don't know if it's through Worlds or if it's going to be through the end of the year, but just kind of her voyage or her travels, her play this season. So I'm curious to see how that is going. And someone says, call Yuli. He's always up for it. Paige Pierce has a fundraiser.
Yeah, that's what I was going to try and
in Raleigh, that it's up to almost $25,000. What is she fundraising for right now?
So exactly what you were just talking about. So I'm just going to jump into it. As I saw a little bit of the information a little bit earlier, that she is in fact working on the documentary you just mentioned and doing it through Indiegogo. And for those that don't know, Indiegogo, it's kind of like a Kickstarter, but more so focused on
it's
more focused on art, the arts.
Kind of, sure.
Is that a way you could kind of say it? So I'm going to see if I want to pull up the exact information here for you guys so that I can read it. And if this is what she wanted to talk about, then that's what we're doing. A documentary about disc golf through the eyes of a 5-time world champion, Paige Pierce. She is she has a flexible goal listed at $75,000. I believe this was just maybe released today. And she has 24,378. So
that ain't bad.
A third of the way supported. And again, I believe that it was just released today. So we'll link to this. We can put it out there. It's on indiegogo.com/projects/fierce documentary.
Fierce documentary.
And without giving you every single bit of text on here, it's just what we were, as you said, what you were talking about, Johnny. She's got a number of cameramen. I think there's at least 2 or 3 that have been following her for a while this year. And just documenting the year. And I think it's also to talk a little bit, not just about Paige, but about women's disc golf. And I think that's what's really cool, is it's not just...
Is there a perk level to have her show up on your podcast?
Do we have to pay? I already supported this twice tonight. So... yeah, you're right. One of those should be, hey, I'm going to show up and talk about it on your show. She has various perks ranging from $5 to $15 to $25 to the $50 version, which gets you a disc. $125 gets you a grip bag plus the support, and then $350 gets you a Zuka cart. And then she has 2 more above that. A $750 CTP one, it's called. That one gets you one-on-one time with Paige, so maybe we need to send her $750.
I was hoping it'd be the MacBook. I wanted her to send me the MacBook.
And then there's a $2,000. That is the largest contribution option at $2,000, and it is called the Full Flex. And it says, this is your chance to leave your mark on the documentary. With this perk, you'll get your name or the name of your company in post credits and IMDb credits as a producer.
Well, there you go, Terry.
So...
Smashbox, throw money at her.
So just $2,000 and you can get at it. So very cool. I'm gonna link to it right now.
Go ahead and put it in our chat,
and then we'll try to come back and give you guys a link later in the description of the video, so it's easier to find. So there it is. That's I'm guessing one thing she for sure wanted to talk about tonight in terms of joining us. That's going on. Again, I don't think it was a secret necessarily. Well, maybe not everybody knew.
Not everybody knew. I wouldn't say it was a secret because, I mean, you've got a bunch of film guys following you around.
Extra ones, yeah.
Extra film crew. I don't necessarily think a lot of people knew what it was for. I think a lot of people knew it was some sort of documentary, but maybe not necessarily the full scope of the project. So, hey, look, look at you interviewing her. You made the website.
I've done that once or twice.
Not tonight. Anyway, so yeah, I don't necessarily know if it was a surprise or not, but all the details were not out there, but they are now.
Yeah. One of the notes here, it says how disc golf, the impact of this, the story arc of women's disc golf is even steeper, and it's more important for us to shine a light on these amazing athletes. As the sport grows, the world will be watching how disc golf tackles some of the biggest issues of equal representation, inclusion, and respect for all athletes and what they sacrifice for the sport. We hope that by bringing fresh faces to the experience, we'll show the world how people of all ages, sexes, shapes, and sizes have an amazing time playing and watching disc golf. So that's one of the notes that's out there. Please go out there. I did not. There's a 1 minute and 20-second trailer, which I actually didn't even click on yet today. I just blindly supported it, but I know they're up to good stuff. So that's what's out there and available if you'd like to go support that. And I think that will have a much grander scope than just, hey, this is Paige Pierce and she's a pretty swell human and plays disc golf well. I think there's going to be so much more to it. I know they're talking to a lot of different people that are going to be part of the documentary, and I think you're going to see some next level cinematography and video and such, just things that we're not used to seeing. We're going to have these true professionals come in and treat it as professional as it possibly can be. And that to me is always really exciting. I think anytime we have just film industry people get involved that are really good, it excites. Not that we don't have some good filmmakers right now, but it's really cool to see it from a fresh perspective.
From a fresh perspective, he says. Very true.
So, Paige Pierce for a TED Talk, that would be a good idea. If you don't have anything else on there, Johnny, I think what we're going to do is we're going to actually call the regular show. If Paige ends up joining us, she'll be of course, the featured guest of our after show. But I think for now we can shut things down. I was expecting that we might see or hear from her, and the last
It's only 8:25 where she's at. So,
correct, yeah.
I
And
mean,
the last video I got, it was her literally riding a scooter. So I think maybe going from the course back to her Airbnb or something like that. So she's likely just getting things into position after getting practiced up. So for now, we're gonna have to. We'll call it, and then if she ends up joining us, like I said, she'll headline our famous after show. It's still famous?
Probably.
We'll say that it is. We'll just tell people.
It will be if we have Paige Pierce on.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Good point. All right, guys, we are going to call it here tonight for our regular podcast. We'll get into all the silliness in the after show. We've got giveaways. I think we got 2 giveaways because we missed out on last week. So that's double the pleasure, double the fun, double the Frisbee stuff that gets awarded to you guys. We appreciate you for supporting us. So for Joey Tamale earlier, along with the Paul McBeth Foundation and all the hard work that they're doing over there or have done in Mexico, we appreciate him for the insight. For Johnny V and myself, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, this has been podcast 351. We'll see you in the after show. You step inside the Smashbox.
Thank you to our $2 and above patrons. Your name is listed below in the credits. If you are interested in being listed as a producer in the Smashbox TV credits and supporting this and other fine podcasts, please visit patreon.com/SmashboxTV.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Smashbox TV's podcast 351's After Show.
So I have an update, Terry.
Like a Microsoft Windows update that we're not getting Internet Explorer anymore? Johnny,
I know.
stop. You're killing me.
Internet Explorer 11 is dead.
Oh,
you now need to upgrade to Edge.
Is that the same thing?
No.
Okay. I mean, it's not just a rebranded Internet Explorer.
No, it's built with a different back end. It's built on, I believe, WebKit, which is what Google Chrome is built on. So it's a slightly different rendering engine. So I'm fairly certain that
would have been my guess, but
I have a different update.
All right.
For those of you that last week were listening to my car issues.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I brought the Honda Fit into the shop after I did a bunch of research here that night.
Yep.
And we were right. It was going to be one of two things. It was going to either be the transmission or the third gear pressure switch, which controls the transmission fluid.
Mm-hmm.
One of which is a $2,000 fix. The other one is a $300 fix.
And was one of those, in fact, in line with what Christy Moore had suggested?
Christy Moore had said it was probably like the solenoid.
Oh, okay.
Transmission solenoid. Thankfully, it was not that. It was the third gear pressure switch, which is about an $80 part. I just had the dealership take care of it. Cost me about $300 with a full transmission flush, replacing the part in an hour's worth of labor. Plus, they found that my axles were under recall. So I got 2 new axles.
Dang.
For front right and front left.
Man.
Living large, man. Just
Wow.
my 2009 Honda Fit with 93,000 miles on
It
it.
will live to see
It's
some more Milwaukee potholes.
It will definitely live to see some more potholes, of which they filled in the ones in front of my street. I was very happy with that. So I was super excited that it only cost me like $300. I didn't want to put too much into that car. So, it's the little things that count. So we're all happy. Everybody's happy. I posted it on Twitter and I got some good responses.
Yeah, people were just out of their minds. I'm just a few miles away. I don't think it'll happen on the way home. I am just a few miles away, speaking of Hondas and mileage, from the old special 250K. I'm at 249.9 something.
With your Element?
With my 2005 Honda Element. So 249.
It's not surprising, but my car is 5 years newer, but has a third of the miles that yours does.
Yes.
Yeah,
your car has seen far less disc golf trips
correct
than mine. That is a
100% the truth.
Certainly part of that.
Daniel asks, do you guys have any predictions for Masters Cup? Yes, Paul McBeth. Paul McBeth plays very well at this course. He's very in control of his discs. He doesn't overpower things. He's very good on the green.
I heard he had too much tequila down in Mexico.
Not going out on a limb when I say Paul McBeth by any means, but he's my favorite.
What about Ricky Wysocki?
I think Ricky Wysocki has a good chance to win too.
Greg Barsby.
No, I don't think Barsby's going to win.
Nate Doss.
No, I definitely don't think Nate Doss is going to win. That guy's a slacker. He's not even playing.
There's some bias.
I know.
I've never heard it.
I felt awkward because I was talking to Nate this weekend. We were getting stuff prepped for the show, and Nate was just getting the stuff set up, and we were talking about how who was it that just wins majors and that's it?
Phil Mickelson?
Yeah, Phil. Phil is just, has got a couple majors but doesn't. And Nate's like, yeah, it's kind of like my career a little bit. And I was like, how so? I'm like, you've got what, like 3 or 4? You had what, 3 or 4 NT wins? And he's like, 8. And I'm like, oh, I didn't realize you had that many.
Ouch.
I know. And
Burn.
he's like, and 1 DGPT win.
Yeah,
which was the Green Mountain,
Yep.
which I did know, but I was thinking of NT events. So I did not realize he had that many NT wins, honestly. And it makes sense. I wasn't paying as much attention to the national tour back then, but, there were a lot of events. He started rattling them off. He was like Golden State, and then he rattled off one more, and he's like, no, never mind. I don't really care, is what he said. And I'm like, valid. That's a really very valid. So Nate Doss with
also funny
and
to
3
think.
world championships.
Correct. Yeah, 3 world championships.
No, it was Jordan. I think it was it Spieth he was talking about? Anyone, someone who just wins the majors and not big events.
Well, and I'll go with the follow-up, and I think I know the answer to this, or I'm close, but you just said 8 or 9 NT, DGPTs, 3 worlds. How many wins overall does Nate Doss have, if you had to guess? I mean, you just rattled, what did we rattle off, 10?
Probably not
10
many.
or 12 of them right there.
12? Just kidding.
Ouch. Remember, he won the Skyline Classic here
I know.
in Wisconsin.
I'd probably say like in the mid-60s.
We'll have to double check this, folks. Let's leave it out there for you guys to chime in.
I don't think it's a lot.
I know roughly where the number is, and I'm excited to confirm that. But I'd love for everyone to chime in on the board. We'll just give it a minute. Put into the chat board how many wins that Nate Doss. Don't cheat and look it up on the PDGA and then tell me. But give me a guess. Give me your best guess as to how many you think that Race is 128. I mean, think of our greats, and some of our California greats. I think of like a Steve Rico who just crested 100 not too long ago, and then you think of all the other 6 or 8 or 10 people that we know are on that 100 win
but
list.
It didn't. And I know Nate and Val toured quite a bit, but it never felt like they played a lot of smaller events either.
Sure.
Like I never feel like he, local California ones. He obviously played quite a few of, but he wasn't so much a road warrior like a Yuli, who's playing like every B tier in between every weekend.
Correct. Yep.
So I don't think he, even though he is one of our greats, I don't think he has a lot of wins.
Okay. Well, I
just
see
what
a
I'm
lot
thinking.
of. I see Cody's guessing 178. I see 40 and 58, 75, 38, 81, 37, so on and so forth. Yeah.
Is Stephen Winslow right that it's the answer to the ultimate question in life?
No. I was going to say,
which would be 42.
I was going to say, if I was just going purely off memory, and I'm now going to have to look it up myself, I was going to say 33. For some reason, I thought 32 was the number, but then I thought about the skyline, and I don't know if I've looked since then. I was going to say 33. 32 or 33 would be my guess. And 42
So
is
it is
the number.
So it is life, the universe, and everything after is the meaning.
Wow. I thought it was in the 30s, honestly. So so even when you guessed in the 60s, I was going to say, no, half that. Yeah, it's just he didn't play hardly any small events, especially as his career went on. He was only concerned about the biggest, most prestigious events to even compete in those. And of course, those always offer the stiffest competition. And so, he didn't rack up a ton of those other smaller event wins, so to speak, although he likely would have done well and picked up quite a few more wins had he gone to them. So very, very interesting. And when you guys were guessing 32, I thought that was the right number. And I was like, you went and Googled it. You cheated. But no.
It was 42.
42. Daniel says some of those wins aren't legit. That's why I said 30. I would like you to tell Nate that.
Which ones are not legit?
Tell him which ones you do not feel are legitimate. I'd love to hear that.
That one team tournament win.
That's not listed though. But that would be legit. So you be quiet. Now of course, just for parody,
and
I
he's
have to look
currently not
current
at the PDGA.
I was going to say I'd like to look up Valerie. 495, I believe, is her number. And Valerie, who just won the U.S. Women's. Valerie, on the other hand, Jenkins, 119 career wins.
Oh, she has slapped some people around.
Yes, she has, for quite a few years, in fact. And I don't know if I referenced this last week or not. In the last couple of weeks and having Val, and then as you were referencing Ragna, I said this to Val along with her mom this weekend when we were in Bend. Ragna just shows up to an event, has not been out there practicing, has not been out there touring a ton or doing any of that kind of stuff, but just to show up to this event. And I feel like she kind of intermittently shows up to some of these Michigan events, and then she wins. It's not the first time this year that she's won. And I'm not saying she's not practicing at all, but she's definitely not playing as much as she used to in her prime, 2013, 2014. And then to show up and still take down an FPO event, I think is incredible. And that's exactly kind of what we saw Val doing. Val hadn't touched a disc in weeks or months going into the women's global. And then she just shows up and has, the highest average of all women in the world for a given weekend. It says a lot about just that raw skill that's there and always apparently harnessed. So pretty cool. All right. I'm going to continue to read a few details off the board. Yes, Tim, Val does, of course, have one more world championship than Nate.
So does Nate have the best percentage of world championships to wins?
Yeah, considering
3 to 42 versus, McBeth's 5 to how many total wins does he have? Like 100?
More than that.
120 or something like that?
Yeah, 146 or something like that.
Nate's efficient. That's all we have to say.
Stephen Winslow says, Val Jenkins' PDGA status shows expired, but her PDGA number page isn't hiding everything like most expired members. Yeah, I did just notice that a moment ago myself. I thought that was interesting.
I think there's been a little bit of a pushback on some of that. If you're a world champion, that they might just be exempting some of this.
Well, but they didn't for Nate's.
I know.
I don't understand. Nate's a world champ as well.
I don't understand.
Does he need 4?
He needs 4.
and then he'll show up? Yeah.
Or is it because she signed up at a WGE event, she paid the $10 for the
not being current?
For not being current?
No, you didn't. You don't have to pay that.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Oh, well.
They didn't you listen to her? There was no member fees. So yeah, I'm not sure how that works. All right. Can we sidetrack just for a moment? This is
No.
a very much tangent.
This is the after show.
Yeah,
We can't
there is no sidetrack. You can't sidetrack from being sidetracked. You can't sidetrack from being on tangents. What in the, maybe you'll give me the stock response. Maybe you won't. What's going on in the world of crypto?
It
Seems kind of crazy.
Took a little crash.
I know we've lightly touched on it here throughout the years. I've become slightly more interested in it as of late, but it seems like the crypto world's a little not upside down. I don't know if that's a fair statement.
No, I don't think
It's
so.
definitely on a non-typical trend at the moment, though, right?
No, not really. This weekend, for whatever reason, I don't know why exactly. Rumor has it has to do a lot with China and them trying to crack down on Bitcoin production because it is a wasteful, energy-consuming product that it drove down the price of the cryptocurrencies. So I'm going to look at, and so this weekend it took a dump. It went from like 50,000 down to like 30,000.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think overall the last 2 days it's been climbing back up. It's at 49,000 right now.
39
or 39. Yeah, sorry, 39,000. Yeah, it was at just a couple days ago, or just on
2
May
weeks ago.
12th. It was at 56, and now it's at 39. But the last couple of days it's been climbing up again. I don't know. It is what it is. Like,
you don't have any clever insights for the world?
I
though?
don't really. I honestly don't. I wish I did.
Oh well,
But I
then
don't.
this didn't go anywhere. I thought you had something useful for us.
No. I guess have a little bit of money in crypto, and that's just because I was playing around years ago, and I don't have a lot to talk about.
Hey, do we have another great question? Back to being unrelated to that now. Do we have one of the last one disc, one tip segments from our friends over at Ace Run?
Maybe
They asked that, and I said that just might salvage our show a little bit tonight if they've given us
too
something.
late now. I don't like to put those in the after show.
Okay.
But we might, if there is. I don't know. I haven't looked recently. I thought we went through them all, so I haven't actively checked them. So
okay. Well, they were asking out there, and I thought I would follow that up and ask you just the same as to if we have one. If so, all right, Johnny. Do you have anything else to give us tonight? Do we have nothing else for our after show? Do we have?
We have giveaways, but that's about
okay.
it.
Well, let's do those.
All right, let me pull that up here real quick.
This is gonna be short and sweet. You guys are gonna win stuff, and we're gonna get the heck out of here. At this rate,
Kind of feels that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What are we gonna give away this week, Terry?
I don't know, but I am restocked on a number of a couple different companies and some discs that I've acquired. So I feel like those will probably be going out. I did receive a returned Patreon supporter disc. So if you are supporting us via Patreon and you haven't received it, and you should have, first of all, certainly reach out, let me know immediately. And second of all, every once in a while, if you could, go out to your Patreon and just triple check, or if you've moved at all recently in the last 2 or 4 or 8 years or 2 weeks, go out and please verify that your Patreon shipping information is correct, because the last thing I want to do is try to ship you your free annual disc, and then 2 weeks or 2 months later it comes back to me, and then there's nothing else I know what to do or what I can do with it. So one of those, I've had 2 or 3 returned to me, and one just did again the other day, and that was a long process of it going out and then finally coming back. So please just double check that all of your Patreon levels or information is correct out there. All right, you're going to download that.
I already did, and I'm just making sure that I add the 2 people who have submitted on the Smashbox page regularly. So congratulations to you 2.
Oh, that's pretty exciting.
Yeah. So I'm ready. I'm ready to give away some stuff, Terry. We have 2 giveaways this week.
All right.
And Terry, did you know that if you want to be eligible for this, that you can just go to patreon.com/SmashboxTV to support a quality broadcast like ours tonight?
Yes. It's pretty apparent we need more support. Maybe we could clean things up a bit.
Maybe.
We're We're going to start paying our guests 1/4 Bitcoin for every time they appear.
Oh, Jesus. Good luck with that.
Okay, we're not. Obviously.
We have 203 people eligible for our giveaway because they are Patreon supporters. Because of people like you, you are supporting independent podcasts like ours that we couldn't do it without you. So thank you very much. We have no other supporters. Nobody else likes us. Just ask the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, 203, Terry. What's the number that we should probably look at picking?
She took down her 16th major.
So 6?
3.
1?
How about 3? How about 3? It took her 3 rounds.
Congratulations. So our first winner will be our third one. So it's going to be not number 28, not number 125, but number 68. That I just sorted them by first name because I was in a hurry here. 68 is Federico Sorensen.
No, no. Oh, I think it's the one above it.
Oh, sorry.
You
You're
can't
right.
even read.
Evan Price. Congratulations, Evan Price. Oh, my God.
Which is funny because I think Federico not only also received a disc lately. I think Federico, the name's familiar. I feel like he's won probably like 6 times.
He might have. You're right. It's Evan Price. Wow.
Sorry, Federico. Don't be upset that you didn't win again.
You can reach out to me personally.
Yeah.
Evan Price. Congratulations, Evan Price. Thank you for being at our producer level.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. So we have another one. Who else are we going to give away to?
Federico.
Federico Sorensen. You just call him every night. He's the Matt Damon of our podcast now for Jimmy Kimmel. Just sorry, Federico, we couldn't get to you. All right, another number, Terry?
Let's go with 4. Your 4th.
All right, the 4th number. So not 83, not 94.
The same person cannot win
not
twice
132. 100. Federico Sorensen. No, I'm sorry. That would be Josh Alcock.
All right.
I'm right this time. It says a 100 next
there
to
you
it.
go.
I can read. Josh Alcock. Congratulations, Josh.
There we go. Nice work.
And Federico Sorensen.
All right, send me those names. And if either of you are listening or listen very soon,
Tim Courts, I think we owe something to. I don't know if we got to him or not. So Tim, if you're out there and we still owe you something, message Terry.
Yeah,
correctly.
make sure you do, Tim. Make sure that we have the correct shipping address for you so that we can get you your free stuff that was given out here tonight. All right, it's gonna be an S. Oh, okay. So it sounds like there's some chatter going on. Discmania, I know, released just for sale some discs today. I don't think they were freshly approved, but they released some. MVP has their new system up and running again. I think Dynamic had released a whole bunch of new stuff. I'm just spewing. I'm thinking about the product releases that are coming into my inbox as a distributor. As a vendor for these people, and it's really cool. And then some of them you go out and you're like, oh, yeah, there's none of those still available. I mean, just clearly the second something becomes available to retailers, it's gone.
I saw something very, very funny.
Okay. Go on.
That Discmania yesterday, I think, or today, released a disc that someone had put finally a Discmania disc that isn't sold out because it is a Simon Lizotte fundraiser on Disc Golf Valley. So you can buy a digital disc, a digital tilt, and the proceeds go to Simon. So you can buy it. And so somebody had made a comment of like, hey, there's a Discmania disc I can actually get. So no, and again, not ripping on Discmania because that's that way for every manufacturer right now. But I did laugh out loud when I saw that.
Dust has asked, where does Terry sell discs on, as in what site? I don't have an e-commerce store or anything like that set up. If you go to the Disc Golf Guy, that's where you could directly pick up and purchase the boxes that I often shamefully plug here, the My Disc in a Box shipping boxes. That's all that I have on there. I don't have a full-blown e-commerce site set up, and quite frankly, I've intentionally not had one. If I ever did put more items online, whether they'd be Smashbox or Disc Golf Guy or something like that, there'd be just a handful of them So I've never invested in doing a full shopping cart experience, and I really wouldn't want to, simply because I'm not, as much as I talk about and do occasionally sell and move discs or raffle them or whatever. I'm not in a position where I want to be actively trying to fulfill 50 orders a day or 10 orders a day necessarily. If somebody wants to reach out and is looking for a particular item that's maybe a little odd that I may have or expensive, then there's a good chance that we could do that deal, so to speak. But I intentionally do not host a site just full of discs on them. It wouldn't be a bad idea. But I don't. It's
Tyler Ness, can you quickly recap the last 3 years I've been out of the game? Paul won
some stuff.
Paige won some stuff. Ricky's been winning some stuff lately.
Yep. Eagles
won a few events. Simon got hurt. Now he's back.
Mm-hmm.
COVID kind of happened, so a lot of events were canceled, and the DGN's doing really well. So, and yeah, subscribe to DGN.
I mean,
you can't ask for a better recap than that.
And we've, what's it been? We've almost doubled our membership in like the last 4 years or something. It's some insane number like that. It's absolutely crazy the amount of PDGA membership what's jumped on in just the last few years. I think you mentioned it a few weeks ago. PDGA is still looking for board candidates. I'm pretty sure you can still submit to that, so please do so.
A few hours, I believe. Maybe it might be tomorrow is the final
really?
day. It might be.
I was just kind of randomly spewing that.
No, it's...
but I didn't know the deadline was coming up, so certainly get on it if you haven't already. Brody Smith, of course, has come into the game.
That guy.
That's been talked about. Certainly.
I like to argue with him on Twitter. I know, I do.
I could see that.
It's fun. And not so much argue, but just discuss things. He likes to come up, not necessarily hot takes, but just a comment, and I lob something back and goes back and forth, and inevitably, like all of his comments get a bunch of likes because he's got a big following, and mine
and yours don't,
and mine don't. Even though I think I have some pretty valid.
Well, that's
points.
what you think,
but yeah, it says the deadline is approaching for the PDGA board. I'm sorry. It's the 31st, so it's a week yet.
Okay. I thought it would be weird just to be randomly like
on a Wednesday. Yeah.
Wednesday on the 26th, but okay. Well, good to know. So make sure you get yourself out there. There's something. Oh, I was going to ask you, and I asked it on Facebook today.
Okay.
Come on, people. What is the best possible backpack for me?
I don't think that there's not an answer. I'll show you my Swiss Army backpack that I have.
That's the brand you have? Okay.
That's the one. I've had it for years. It's high quality as far as durability, the one I have at least, and has lasted me, I think I've had it for about 10 years now.
Holy cow.
Yeah. And it doesn't get a lot of use. I toss a laptop in it, bring it back and forth. I travel with it now and again. Goes in and out of my car. I don't do a lot of abuse with it, but ultimately it's just a solid backpack. I think it all depends on what you're looking for, Terry.
Well, I do appreciate it. A number of you guys are posting here, and I've also posted on my Facebook. I appreciate that.
Get yourself a cart.
The number one requirement, well, there's not just one, but one of the biggest components for me, though, is if I have a carry-on, which is usually my Pelican case to go to tournaments, if I have that as a carry-on, whatever additional bag I use, they call it usually a personal bag, when you're flying, that always has to be smaller, and it has to fit on the floor in front of your seat in an airplane. And so sometimes you may have a carry-on, and that's it, that does fit under there. But since I already have one carry-on that for sure has to go up top, the other one technically has to go underneath, or is supposed to. So the overall size does make a huge difference in this case. And some of the bags that have been recommended to me are incredible bags, but they're still too big. If it was my only bag and I could put it up top, that would be one thing. But so it's very specific what I'm looking for. But I appreciate anyone that's jumped out and provided some updates.
Shift One Photo says get an ape case.
Ape case?
That might be something you need to look into, because with a name like Shift One Photo, it sounds like maybe they might have a better idea.
Yeah, and I did look into some media bags. There's a lot of camera bags that I thought might service what I'm looking for, because I wanted to carry a laptop and I wanted to carry some video equipment, but I'm really light on the video equipment. It's more so just overall gadgetry and just a ton of little things that come with me that I need to be able to bring back with me. So, oh, well, after the after show tonight, me and Mike Jewell are going to have a private lesson, and he's going to show me his bag.
That's a little creepy.
Pin deep, baby. Pin deep.
You should do that another night.
No, I'm going to do it right here, and I'm going to make you watch. Like, hey, we're looking. Okay, maybe not. Ace Run says, I carry my laptop, camcorder, and many other goodies in it, and it still fits in the seat in front of me on an airplane as my personal item. Wow. Ace Run, we're going to have to talk about what you are suggesting. I use a Targus backpack for the last 4 years. Okay, well, we're going to have to kind of talk about some of that stuff as well.
Go with JanSport.
Yeah, represent. We got to go local.
Guys, keep it local.
Keep it local here to Wisconsin. All right, Johnny. Well, if you don't have anything else, then we are going to shut the show down. It's going to be an overall very early night between the podcast along with the after show. Guys, that's all we're bringing. Our main subject tonight was going to be Paige Pierce and the incredible performance. Hopefully you guys saw that.
% Circle 1X podcast.
Insane to me. All I kept thinking is, oh God, don't miss. Don't ruin this 100%.
I had a lot of questions about that too. I wanted to ask her.
Yeah. Well, go out, support her via Indiegogo. You saw that in the chat. We'll also make sure that gets posted in the overall description of tonight's show. Please read up, watch the video. I'm going to go watch the video. I've already supported. I just blindly threw money at it already, and we hope that for the sake of women's disc golf and everything that they have going on, and for good cinematography and overall video, really looking forward to that project at the end of the year when we see it come out. It should be incredible. We have to thank everyone for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. Looking forward to enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. If you're consuming disc golf, it's going to be on a post-production side, which is awesome. Huge shout out to all those teams that are going to be out there busting it and doing what they do week in and week out. And if you need to be held over until then, I'll make a plug. The Huck Central is all available. I put out 12 total videos. Yeah, 6 rounds of coverage over 4 rounds of play. 12 total videos, all out there, all available on my channel. You can go out and find that and consume that. That should hold you over for a few days.
That'll be great.
Good stuff. For Johnny V and myself, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, to all our Patreon subscribers and supporters, we love you. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week when you step inside the Smashbox.